What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, the heart and soul of authentic football fan culture. Straight out of Manchester, you are tuned in to our Thursday transfer talk, where passion meets insight and every rumour gets the real treatment. Get ready to dive deep because we're bringing you the latest, the loudest, and the most electrifying transfers going about Man United right now. And we're going to kick things off with United trying to hijack a deal potentially from Brighton for Kadioglu. Our new CEO, Omar Berrada, addresses the fans ahead of our first Premier League campaign. It seems like United won't be signing Amrabat. There's a couple of little bits on that. The Ligt interview has dropped. This quote's coming out from that. And we'll get Sam's thoughts on the Fulham game as well, because, of course, he wasn't available last night. So I definitely want to dive into that. But as it stands right now, Sam, with Kadioglu, apparently, and this is Sport Witness, so I'll take it with a pinch of salt, Manchester United have made an offer for Ferdi Kadıoğlu. Brighton have also tabled an offer, which is worth more, when add-ons are taken into account. However, United have offered the most money in the initial payment. Now, out of the ones that we've been linked to, I would probably say, and I don't know if you agree, please let me know, this is probably the best option that's been put out there.
Yeah, because what was the other one? Hermoso, aka
Alonso.
Samosa,
Well,
and Alonso.
Samosa, sorry, yeah, got it wrong. Samosa, yeah.
So they were the two we were looking at, and I was like, I don't really rate any of those two. And then the other option is what put the emphasis on Harry Amas, who I don't think is ready yet. I like him. I think he's great. I think he could be, and I think he will develop into a good player, but I just don't think he's ready. And I think Ten Hag agrees. He said as much. So we clearly need somebody to play there. Now, could be Matt Swarry. We brought him in. He can play both sides, but it looks like with Luke Shaw being injured again, which I think we all feared and we all probably knew, even though it's annoyed us, we all probably thought this was going to happen at some point. Just didn't expect it to happen immediately. So yeah, we're probably looking now that we need to get a young left back in, if not somebody who could be backup, or somebody who could potentially start in the future, because that position is probably going to be an issue for a while with the lack of Terrell Malacia, Luke Shaw, and then Harry Amas not being ready. We probably need a left back who's going to be there for a while.
Is Mazraoui enough? That's the question, isn't it? Do you have to go and get these players if the budget fits, or do you think they're going to do it regardless?
I think you have to do it. Whether we do it whether we put a stopgap in this summer, get a loan or something like that, like a short thing for this summer, and then we go big next summer and get somebody in. Maybe that's what we do. I think the two priority positions when we started this summer were defensive midfield and centre back, and we've addressed only one of those. Still not addressed the defensive midfield. And then as time has gone on, left back's probably become one of the biggest priorities also. So we do need to put somebody there now, whether that's somebody long term like Ferdi Kadıoğlu, or whether that's somebody short term like a Region type deal that we just for the season we get through, see how Shaw is, see how Malacia is, see how Amas is, and then we address it in the summer. I think it has to be addressed in one way or the other, whether that's permanently or whether that's like a short term stopgap issue.
It seems like they're pushing for versatility.
Yeah.
This summer, done it. Players who can play here, there, everywhere. Especially the forward line, you've got a lot of rotation. Xerxes offers that. I mean, players like Mount and Bruno already did anyway, but bringing in Mazraoui, can play right back, can play left back. Dalot can do that. And then the fact that he's looking for specifically Hermoso, who's can play left centre back, but can also play left back.
Yeah.
It just the words keep ringing in my ear. Survival of the fittest. That is, I think, it's going to stick in my head, because I think a lot of teams and managers are preparing for the season ahead, and they're looking at the schedule, and they're looking at last season and they're like, we need as deep squad as possible. So
squad depth
is
the issue, isn't it?
So some people are probably looking at it and going, it might not look like we need this player, but you get a couple of injuries down, Sam, and that's where it can, really turn around, as we found out last season the hard way.
Yeah, and we've done that. We've reinforced the centre backs, in particular. So it's like we need to get that sorted, and we have done. We all thought, we got Yoro in. If we don't get Branthwaite, that'll probably be it. But then we've continued on with the De Ligt deal and got him through the door as well. So now you've got almost 3 for 2 in that first choice centre back options. You got Leach, Yoro when he's fit, and De Ligt, and then obviously Maguire's going to be, and Evans are going to be your backup. I imagine next season Evans probably won't be here, and Maguire is in his last year of his deal, so he may not be here. So you may then have to go out and get somebody else as well next year. But for this season, I think that's good enough. But yeah, the left back situation is wide open. Because like you said, Max Warry can play there, but his injury issues are a thing as well. It's like, is he going to be able to stand up to it? The survival of the fittest. Last year, we don't know when he's going to be back, if ever. And then, yeah, Luke Shaw can't be relied upon. So it's a definite gaping hole in the squad, and I hope it gets addressed.
We had a period over like the first couple, well, the start of the year almost up until June, where they was assessing all this. One there was obviously Omar Berrada wasn't in yet, and neither was Dan Ashworth. But you probably imagine there was some, WhatsApp messages going through and stuff. And that, I think that's one thing that definitely identified is, one, we can't rely on a lot of the current crop of players that we've got because the injuries that they pick up consistently. Two, the fringe players, some of them probably aren't good enough to step into the squad and meet some of the youngsters, and then some of the experienced players.
Not ready yet.
Or not ready as well. So they've actually surprised me a bit by how much they've done so far. I don't know if it surprised you, because I know they always have overhauls, don't they, when new owners come in. But the way it was being put out, you saw from day one, 40 million budget, didn't you? Do you remember discussing that, saying 40 million quid? There's no chance. I mean, we spent probably net spend 100 million now, so that was absolute bullshit. But yeah, as the overall kind of process, and has it surprised you at all?
No, I was quite optimistic. I know you had, I don't want to say reservations, but you were probably more cautious than me and Chivy were. I'd like to say. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I was quite optimistic because the fact that we were getting football people in football positions and experienced people as well. Jason Wilcox, he's took a downgrade. Like, he was director of football at Southampton. He took a downgrade to come to United to be our technical director.
What light you're looking at, I suppose, isn't it?
Well,
like
in terms of job title,
position.
yeah, but in terms of job title, but yeah, in career progression, you're probably right. He took a downgrade. You got Dan Ashworth, who left Newcastle, who are the richest club on the planet, and he's left them to come to United. You had Omar Berrada, who's at the most successful team in the world at the minute, and he left to come to United. So that shows you like the pull of United. So I think we've got right football people in the right positions. Like you said, they haven't been here as the longer the time as we would have liked. We'd like to have had them in earlier in the year to start prepping and stuff. But considering the amount of time they've had and how long they've been here, I think we've done pretty decent. I think we've done all right. I think it's definitely, if we don't get a defensive midfielder, I'll probably look down on it a little bit more, because I think that's a position that has to be addressed, and I hope it is addressed before the end of the window. But apart from that, we need a centre back. We got two, and I think they're one's fantastic prospect. I think it's going to be really good. Another is very, very good in De Ligt, despite what people in our comments would have you believe. Xerxes, very shrewd signing. Release clause, different profile player, fits into the team because he's playing multiple different positions and he's different profile to Højlund, which is great. And then you brought in a backup right back / left back as well on top of that, which with Wan-Bissaka leaving and like you just mentioned with the left back issue to play that, I think that's a shrewd signing as well. And for the price we got him from both is phenomenally good money. So yeah, I think we've done pretty well so far. I hope there's still a little bit more to come. I hope there's a defensive midfielder in there, but let's see what happens.
You touched on Omar Berrada there. We're going to get into the letter he's sent out to fans, and we'll touch on that in a moment. I just want to go to the comments because there's quite a few. Please, keep getting your opinions in. Smash a like on the video for us to let us know you enjoyed the content, and let us know what you think about the video that we dropped for public this morning as well, around 9 o'clock, if you haven't seen that. Just been reported by Tier 1 Turkish journal that Kadioglu has accepted Brighton's offer. Wow, well, there's a blow for you, if true. I'll double check that in a minute, but I believe you. 1 second. Nick and Sam, big up. Thank you, Richard, as always. Afternoon, Nick and Sam. Everyone's from my damned. McMillan saying Bradley Loco is the next long-term left-back option United want to get next summer. Yeah, it does feel like it's going to be a loan, doesn't it, Sam?
Yeah, I don't see where the money comes from. If we're like haggling over the Awate deal, I don't see where that money comes from unless we make a big few sales. I really don't see where the money comes from. So yeah, to me it'd be a loan or like an out of contract.
Another Region in it.
Yeah,
like last
that's what it seems to me.
But just keep him for the 12 months this time rather than sending him back like idiots. I'm sorry we're not pursuing Amrabat as a bench player. I thought it was a good option. That's from Richard. We'll touch on Amrabat towards the end. given how we played in pre-season and in the Community Shield, I'm excited for this season, and you can see where De Ligt improves us playing out from the back. Abdullah Irwin, Scott McTominay's Conte's main priority in the coming hours. A new summit with agent who's put other proposals on hold. Yeah, apparently they're going to spend the Victor Osimhen money on McTominay for 25 mil or something, I think I saw. So make of that what you will. But Italian journalists, just be careful with them sometimes because they push more than what it's worth.
Like Portuguese journalists are very similar, aren't they?
Yes, correct. Brian saying, I think Euro gets injured, forced the club's hand in getting De Ligt and deal done before a centre defensive midfielder. Now we need Scott Sancho to go before we can get a Wate in. Sean saying, haven't seen much of Kadioglu, to be honest, but I'd never buy a player based on international tournament performances. Many clubs have been burned by that time and time again. That's fair enough. Fair enough. Steph saying, big up Nick and Sam. And as always, pushing the likes up. Thank you, Steph. Appreciate it.
Steph. Big up, Steph.
Yep. He's a better option than Shaw, but if he's gone to Brighton, then no. Okay. I'd rather go for Reguilon again. Good left back. I don't even know where Reguilon is at the minute. I don't know if he's permanently signed for Brentford or if he's
No, because he was only at Brentford half the season, and he returned to Spurs. So I think he's out of contract, I believe.
Interesting. I mean, if it's an option, I'd consider it. I thought he was all right actually, Reguilon going forward.
Had some he was good against Bayern Munich in the Champions League. I thought he was decent.
Yeah. It was all right. Right, let's go back to Omar Berrada then, the message that he sent to United fans. Of course, our new CEO at Man United, he was saying basically he's excited to meet the Premier League club the team's supporters, for the Premier League opener against Fulham. He's spoken about, I was inspired when he was a kid. Again, I don't know if I believe him, but I don't know if it's pushing on the PR side a little bit, saying that, his, memories of legendary players like Sir Bobby Charlton and George Best, our rich history, all the trophies that we've won, and then goes on to speak about the significant transformations on and off the pitch, the 4 new players in Xerxes, Yoro, De Ligt, and Mazraoui, Bruno's new contract, Ten Hag's new contract, and then all the staff below him in Dan Ashworth and Jason Wilcox and stuff. And he says the club is focused on building a strong football structure and a world-leading non-football leadership team to ensure long-term success. Not a bad start from the new CEO, is it, so far?
No, saying all the right things. Like I said, there's probably a lot of puff PR pieces in there, like get stuff going, which is what you expect, really. Like, I don't expect them to be brutally honest in a letter to the fans on the opening day of the season. Like, they have to be sort of somewhat propaganda. But yeah, all the right things said. They've operated in the transfer market extremely well. I don't know if anybody watched. There was a documentary with him featured in it, and he was talking about transfer deals and how he doesn't overpay and this kind of stuff. And he seems to have brought that to United. Like, we haven't overpaid on anybody. I think people would argue we've overpaid on Euro, but again, it's a once in a generation type talent, and sometimes you do have to overpay for those things. But I think everybody else, De Ligt and Mazraoui, top deals in my opinion, great price. Same for Xerxes, I think great piece of business. If we can get a Wate deal down for a decent price, again, good bit of business. So yeah, I think he's done well so far. Obviously, he's not alone in the credit. You got Dan Ashworth, you got Jason Wilcox there involved as well. So yeah, I think so far so good. I like what I've seen. Hopefully it continues, and hopefully once he's got a full year under his belt and he sees the whole operation, etc., he's even better next summer or in the January window. You'll see even more from that sort of boardroom and that sort of team. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see what a proper footballing structure can do over the next couple of years, and hopefully they return us to some sort of glory, or we can win something massive in the next few years. That would be nice.
Because I think a lot of people forget in mid-June, towards when the Euros were starting and stuff, there was still interviews of Sir Jim Ratcliffe saying we don't know if Dan Ashworth is going to be in this summer. We don't know. Newcastle are being buggers about it basically. Which again, him coming in, definitely the contacts he's got and the way he works, it would have helped significantly with these deals that we've seen over the summer, and obviously with De Ligt and Mazraoui, more. What's the word I'm looking for? Which obviously the latest ones is what I'm saying. So yeah, I think they've done a good job so far. But you don't know until the season starts, really, isn't it? They look like good moves and they look like good players, and you've seen why they've signed them. But it doesn't always mean to say that you're going to start off like a rocket and everything's going to be gold and shiny. So we'll just have to wait and see how the course. One thing I wanted to say is obviously there's going to be bumps in the road along the way.
Yes.
Do you think the big drama that we've seen at United over the past 10 years, do you think that no more? Obviously, there's going to be bits that are like, okay, we need to deal with this. But you look at, I mean, you could go through a million things that's happened with United, which we've personally covered. Do you think that dies down a little bit at least now?
Yeah, because we've seen less leaks, haven't we? We've seen less people coming out about United, which was always the issue. Every fucking week it was an issue on it. Something was coming out, and somebody was upset. Somebody
Raw
was
chicken, Anthony, Greenwood situation, Ronaldo, De Gea, like
never ending. It was never ending.
Never ever ending. Yeah.
I think that'll sort of stop. There's still teams clearly trying to test United when it comes to transfers or when it comes to making things difficult for that kind of thing. You saw Newcastle with Dan Ashworth be extremely difficult. You're seeing PSG right now being extremely difficult with Duarte. You saw Bayern test us as well with the De Ligt deals and the Matsuari. You've seen Everton try it as well. So you're going to see these things happen quite often because they're going to think, oh, it's their first window. They're going to bend and collapse like they normally do. So far, I think we've stood up to it. We haven't paid what PSG have asked. We didn't pay what Bayern asked. We did it negotiated. We overpaid for Euro, but when you look at the fact that we beat Real Madrid to a signing, I had to argue that as a win. Like, I'd take that as a win. You stole him from Real Madrid. So I think they've done quite well. I think teams will still try and test us in the transfer market. They'll still ask for a ridiculous United tax, which is always going to be a thing, sadly. And then you on top of that, you got Premier League and English player tax when that happens, like for Branthwaite, for example. So, yeah, I think that's always going to be an issue. But I think going forward, hopefully less drama. And I think with the talent identification and the players we're going for, I think we're going to look at like attitude and backgrounds a bit more, which I think that's not something we've done, as you've seen with like Sancho, attitude-wise. I don't think Ineos would have signed him for the price that we paid. I think they would have looked at his attitude and his laziness and the stuff behind the scenes that was going on. I think they would have gone, this is not worth, the juice ain't worth the squeeze is I think the phrase. And then the same with like Anthony, with the stuff that his allegations that have gone on and stuff like that. Like they probably would have looked at that and gone, maybe let's not do this signing. So hopefully that becomes less as well as we get these sort of players out the door.
Yeah, you need to do your due diligence, don't you? Because you don't really hear stories coming out of City like you have with United.
Al Walker.
Well, yeah, what's he done? Like slept with a couple of women and got his thing out.
Two secret families. So
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So maybe on the odd case there is, but I'm just saying with United, it feels like stockpiled up of just loads of things and issues, and maybe it's just because it felt like a bit of a cloud over one season where it's just anywhere you looked. I remember saying in the WhatsApp chat actually at the time, like we cannot get away from bad news at the moment. No. Every week or every day there was just a story that's coming out, and you're like, what on earth is going on? And it just added to the negativity of basically what was going on with results wise on the pitch as well. But you talk about individual profiling and getting the right players in. I think someone like Matthijs de Ligt definitely fits that mold. He's been given an interview today talking about how he is as a person, how he's grown and adapted. Talks about playing with Ronaldo, Muller, Bonucci, Chiellini, Neuer, all the traits he's learned from these serial winners, effectively. How he was waiting all summer for the deal to be done. He was waiting for that text. I thought that's nice because he agreed personal terms, I think, like by the end of June.
Yeah.
So he's been waiting quite a while for this move.
Awate's the same, isn't he? Awate's been waiting since June.
Yeah. So. I'm sure you'll probably get the same line out of him if you can speak English. Yeah. But the one thing that stuck in my mind from that interview, Sam, and make sure you guys check out, by the way, if you haven't seen it, it's a really good interview. Yeah. He said it was the project that convinced him.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard that out of players. I don't know if it's just me.
I think didn't Yoro say it or Xerxes? I'm sure one of them said it.
No, I mean like prior to the new signings, basically.
Well, there wasn't a project, was there? We were just a fly-by-night, throw shit at the wall, see what happens, and hope for the best. That was kind of how it was under Murta and Woodward. It was like spend money, get big players in, throw them on the pitch, and then just hope it comes together. There was no plan, as you saw from the manager selection and the players we bought. He just lurched from one direction to another. Had no idea, buying Pogba's and that kind of stuff, and then the next guy in a Matic, and there was no plan, there was no direction, there was no style of play, there was no sort of thing. It was just chaos. Now there is. Now there's like, this is the way we want to play. These are the type of profile player we want to sign. Young, potential stars, under a certain age, injury profiles, price points, manager agrees on him and the board agrees on him. It's not just a manager or just a board thing where, like, we saw so many times where a manager would be like, I want this, and this player, and they go, well, we don't really rate him, so we've got you Donny van de Beek. And they're like,
Yeah.
I don't
And
want
you
Donny
just
van de
know
Beek.
the manager
Yeah.
did not want that
It's like, I
player.
don't want it. Well, you've got him now, so deal with it. And it's the same with Ronaldo. I'm sure we all got caught up in the romance of it and stuff like that. But you saw the way Ollie was setting up with Greenwood, Martial, and Rashford, and then he was just thrusting Ronaldo, and he's like, "Yeah, you go," and he's like, "Well, doesn't fit the system I'm trying to play at all." And it's
that had an effect on Cavani as well, of course, didn't it? Because Cavani wanted to stay for another year, and then he was like, "Fuck that! You're bringing him in. Give him my number."
And it's just so it was just no plan. But now we're buying players under a certain age, for a certain price point, profile that fits in with the team we want to play in the way. And it doesn't matter about the manager; it's about going forward. So if Ten Hag is not here in 3 years, those players can still work for this team and for this system, which is what every other team in the league has. We don't have that system. Brighton, it doesn't matter who the manager at Brighton is; they're going to buy a certain type of profile player and a certain type of way of playing. That's how it works. Same with City. When Pep leaves, they'll continue on with the same process, and that's how United should be, and that's the way it's going so far this season. And I like the way it's been adapted. By the way, shout out to Brian. He's just bought 2 Real Reds memberships for 2 people. Mark Palmer and Joshua Owen have been gifted by Brian Casey. Thank you so much, Brian, for the generosity. You are an OG member. I think you've been here 15 months, I believe. Brian Casey was one of the original. It might have been the first Real Reds Ultra member. So, Brian,
definitely one of them.
Appreciate you, mate. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you to everyone in the chat who's getting involved and all the opinions. I appreciate you guys tuning into every single live show. Remember, we do have 2 live shows a day. We have pre-record membership videos, guest interviews, pre-match build-ups, post-match reviews, everything. Got loads of stuff. So I appreciate every single one of you, and do smash a like on the video for that. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. This community is getting bigger and bigger every day, man. It's fucking skyrocketing. So, and that's because of you guys. So thank you. On De Ligt, Sam, and again, this is a question to you guys in the chat. So get involved with this. Do you think there's more pressure on him than the other signings? Because there seems to be a lot more criticism already and question marks around him.
United, isn't it? It's always criticism.
It is, but more so with him, I feel, at the minute. I don't know why. It's like if he has one bad performance in the next couple, you just know what's going to happen, don't you?
He's just going to have to put in Lissandro levels of performance, isn't he? Because nobody talks about Leacher anymore, do they? There was all that shit, wasn't he, in the beginning? He's too short. He's not going to work as a centre-back, blah, blah, blah. And now Carragher walked those comments back quick. Pep Guardiola called him one of the best centre-backs he's ever seen play. Like, do you know what I mean? So he just has to have a consistent season and people will shut the fuck up. Like, that's just how it is. But yeah, I love the people who come to our comments, like with the content we posted about De Ligt. Oh, why has he left Juve and why has he left Bayern then if he's any good? And you're just like, your simplistic way of thinking is idiotic to the point of like, I genuinely don't believe you're real. And then you know what? If you want to argue with us as well on content, come with facts and figures because I do, and I will back everything up I say. And if you just come with, oh yeah, Graham Souness is right, I'll come with facts and figures and I'll prove you wrong. So feel free. But yeah, he just has to have consistent performances. And I think with a settled back line, Dalot is probably going to play right back, I would argue, for most of the season. And then it's going to be De Ligt, Leacher, or Yoro. That's going to be 3. And then the left back, that's the concerning bit. That's going to be the one where I'm like, right, who plays there? Is it Matthijs or is it another that we bring in? I think Onana's going to have a better season because he's going to have 2 defenders in front of him who can play out from the back. He's got people like De Ligt is very good at it. Leacher obviously very good at it. Dalot, and then if he gets another in there, and he's familiar with most of them as well. He's played with De Ligt, played with Leacher, he's played with Matthijs. He's played with them all, so he knows exactly what their game is. So I think that backline will be more settled and you'll see better performance from him. And I'm hoping we don't experience as many shots on goal as we did last season because that was just insanity. Fucking insanity. And then I don't think any defence in the world is going to do well when you concede that amount of shots or allow that many shots on your goal.
Yeah, I think with De Ligt, there's going to be a bit of an adjustment period. I don't think, actually, that's a lie. I don't think there's going to be a bit of an adjustment period because I think he's used to Ten Hag's system. He knows what he expects from him. So there'll be less of one, if anything. But I think there's going to be maybe in a period, an adjustment period to the media and how they speak and criticize. Like, I'm sure we got criticized for Bayern. I'm sure we got, there was stuff at Juventus where there was Italian press on his back because of Bonucci and Chiellini. But we know United is probably the biggest media presence, or at least top 3. So that's just one thing. Like, as United fans, protect De Ligt at all costs within like the first kind of 6 months, because they will come for him. You'll see Graham Souness. You'll see Danny Murphy on TalkSport,
Just
Gongo Hall, these kind of guys
in
who,
general will do it.
they get given a clipboard to say reactionary shit about United player. You know it's going to happen, so just be prepared for that. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Right, we'll touch on the Fulham game, Sam, because you wasn't, like I said, you didn't get your say on it last night, so I definitely want to hear your opinion on it, and of course, if De Ligt and Majori will start. But before we do that, I'm just going to go to the comments again. Dan Fenton, yes, the live shows are great, the content as well. You do, Nick and Sam, quality.
Thank you,
love
mate.
the channel and everyone in the chat.
Appreciate it.
Elite baller. I've seen many players in my 4 decades on this planet. I knew Kadioglu was a baller from a moment I saw him.
Interesting.
Joshua Owen saying, I've seen pitch side talking shit about Martinez and calling him overrated because he's being hyped up because of short tacks, according to biased Newcastle fan Lewis Bowden.
Oh,
Listen,
he's an idiot. He's a fucking
if you
idiot,
listen to, and he is literally brought on, was it Slipknot who had the clown who just danced about on stage?
Yeah.
He is that basically for them. He's just, they brought him on because he'll get people, like I'm talking about emotional reactions.
He'll say utter shit. Just say utter shit.
To get a reaction. Yeah, that's what he's there for. Not, detailed analytical views on players. He's not there for that.
You can't even take it as an opinion, because I don't believe it's an actual opinion. Because I think if he said his actual opinion, he would be more measured. I think he's literally just saying triggers to get people going. Because I think if he was actually honest, I don't think he believes half the shit he's
he put fucking... I'm sure I saw a take from him. He put Longstaff in, like, top 5 midfielders. Or above Rodri or something.
He didn't put Saliba in the top 5 defenders either, did he?
No,
he's out of his mind. Out of his fucking mind.
And anything to do with United, he hates. For some reason, Newcastle fans, I don't know what it is, what their beef is.
He's trying to start a rivalry with us, aren't they?
Yeah.
It don't exist, lads. Like, let it go.
It's never existed. Like, I know maybe it's got something to do with the fact that they haven't won a trophy in about 50 years and we beat them in the Carabao Cup final. Maybe it's something to do with the Kevin Keegan thing and the Fergie thing. It's probably Keith Gillespie one way, Andy Cole the other, was it, I think.
Dan Ashworth. They still
Dan Ashworth in there as well. Yeah. Maybe it's something to do with that. But whenever I hear content creators who are Newcastle fans like True Geordie and Lewis Bowden, whoever else, they're just always slacking United off. It's like a chip on the shoulder that they can't get off. Like,
I don't get it. I'd expect it from like Scousers. I'd expect it from City fans, Arsenal fans. Yeah. I'd expect it. But like Lucas is so weird. It's like Bournemouth fans being mega angry at you. You're just like, why? Like, why are you angry at us?
Fucking Bournemouth. Do not get me started on that club. But yeah, it's apples and oranges when you compare trophies and history. It's just, it's not even the same. You're not even in that league. Joshua Owen saying, Onana would be comfortable having 2 centre-backs in front of him that he's played with. You'd certainly hope so, wouldn't you? You'd certainly hope so. Random guy gifted 1 Real Red Star membership. Again, this guy is a legend. Appreciate you, brother. Ricky Ruinda was gifted a membership by Random Guy. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, mate. There'll be some content out over the weekend. He's nearly as bad as Ty on AFTV.
You know what? I feel bad insulting Ty because I genuinely think he's got some sort of developmental learning disorder. I genuinely think there's something, and I think they exploit him a little bit because they know it gets clicks. Because it doesn't seem
bit of a child like.
Yeah, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right. So I'm a bit hesitant to sort of mock.
And AFTV know that. Like,
they know. Absolutely.
Talk about getting emotional reactions. They built a fucking career off that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Emotional reactions and stupid takes. So yeah, I'd agree with that. Lewis the Human Toilet Bowden. United gets clicks. This is why they come out with crazy takes.
Absolutely.
He's upset we beat him in the Carabao Cup final. Yeah, that's the one. Pitch side 90-minute and 90 etc. are the worst ear bleeding cack. That's the first time I've heard.
Matt Millen's not a fan.
I know. I love that though. Ear bleeding cack. Wow, what a description. Correct tie is the one they use to get clips. So yeah, Sam. Fulham game. Sorry, we said we didn't discuss it, didn't we? What do you think? Just give us an overall analysis of that game. How you feeling going into it? Maybe a couple of people who will start.
I think it's going to be a trickier game than I think normally we would expect from Fulham. Every time we seem to play them at Old Trafford, there seems to be some sort of incident, doesn't there? Like the last couple of games, I've seen him at Old Trafford. Like obviously there was the red card thing where the manager got sent off, Willian got sent off, and somebody else got sent off. Was it Mitrovic? I think. So that was chaos. And then there's always a bit of jeopardy as well against Fulham. It always seems like we can't just put them away comfortably. There's always something going on. So yeah, I'm not 100% like, yes, we can do these, or like this will be an easy win. I think it's going to be a fight. And if we do win, I don't think it's going to be like a 2-0 comfortable win. I think it'd be something like 2-1 or a 1-0 or something like that. I think it'll be quite tight. I personally see a draw. I think 1-1. I think that's the way I see it going. I think it's going to take a while for this Ten Hag team to click and things to get going because you've got all these new players, new season, that kind of stuff. So I think it'll take a bit to sort of get going. But once it does get going, I think we'll be better. But yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a rough start these first few games or so. As long as we show up against Liverpool, like as long as we don't see a slapping against Liverpool, I think I can handle the rocky road ahead. But yeah, I think it might be a bit of a sort of tight game. This.
Do you know what? I forgot we was playing Liverpool in like the third game.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely forgot. And you can already see the Dutch bald head narratives going into that one.
Similar to, you remember we lost to Brighton, lost to Brentford, then we played Liverpool, and we were all like going, we're getting slapped here. This is just going to be an absolute dive. And then obviously Jadon Sancho with the goal, and we got the win. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, could be very similar here. Could be very similar.
Well, when we did the preview last night, me, Shreyas, and Chibved, there was everyone in the chat, quite a lot of people who are there now, quite positive.
Yeah.
About it. It's been like, I think, 2-0, 3-0. Some people putting 4-0s. I've just had that game.
Sam always puts 3-4-0.
He is always positive
every single time. I love it. I wish it could be that way, but yeah.
Yeah,
every time.
Same. I love the positivity. Don't get me wrong, but I just, even last season, though, he was putting like 3-0, and it's like we just beat.
Have you watched that season? Yeah, have you seen it?
So people have PTSD, and I understand it from last season. I completely get it. It's not going to be all rainbows and sunshine. I still have the Fulham game in my mind from last season when we lost at Old Trafford.
Oh yeah.
And I watched the highlights back.
There wasn't many highlights, was there?
Well, it was. Do you know what? There was some good bits still that I was like, oh, we did that okay. You know,
did Sabitzer score in that game?
No, that was the year before.
Oh, was that the year before?
Well, I'm talking about last season when we lost, like this year. At Fulham, we lost at Old Trafford, and he will be scored in the 97th minute.
Oh
and
shit! I was at that game. I was at that game.
There's a transition where you've got Maguire and Eriksen on the left-hand side, and they're just they look like two slugs, just like trying to track back, and they break away and they score in the 97th. And you're like, oh my god!
There's two players you don't want in an isolated area on a counter attack.
Yeah,
Maguire and Eriksen in it. Those two, it's like the worst people in the world.
Steel toe caps.
Oh fucking hell! Like
slugs.
I could run quicker than Eriksen at this point. Yeah, like it's honestly, God, it's painful to watch.
Yeah, it really is. So, and I think it was on a few kind of situations last season. It was always the last minute, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you remember, like Chelsea? How many goals did they score in the last couple of minutes? Was it like we beat us? Was it 4-3?
Yeah,
like crazy end to the game.
Palmer got a hat-trick, didn't he?
Yeah, you had Brentford in the last. We absolutely battered us. We scored somehow with Mount, I think it was, and then they fucking equalised. You're like, oh my god! And there's so many games like that.
That game as well. They hit like the crossbar. They hit the post twice as well. I think. Like,
they battered us. Absolutely from pillar to post, battered us.
Insane.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, we are going to be live, by the way, for Ten Hag's press conference, which is in about an hour. Well, I'm going to be live in about an hour's time for Ten Hag. So just whilst I've got you all here, if you do want to come and join me for that, we're going to find out on injuries, who's available, who's going to start, questions about De Ligt, questions about the campaign, the season. It's going to be very, very exciting, and I'm going to be live in an hour. So, yeah, make sure you come and join me for that. And then we'll just read out some comments, see what people are saying. David Harrington, the club get money regardless. We set a fee. We don't earn from shirt sales, I believe. Okay. He said Mainu is the B-Tech miler. That was the worst take I've ever heard in my life.
Fuck it now.
In my life. Yeah. Newcastle fans take their cues from Bitter Shearer, who acts like he doesn't regret not joining us. Yeah. I would love Evan Ferguson at United, top striker. It's gone very quiet on that, hasn't it? Evan Ferguson. Do you remember that last season? It was like
Been
a
injury.
massive thing.
He's injury prone, though, isn't he? Been injured
Yeah.
like every season. So that worries me. And then they were what was it they wanted 100 million originally or something like ridiculous. I don't think
Yeah.
he's worth that now, clearly, because
He signed a new deal, didn't he? I think at the time with Brighton.
he's been injured a lot. Like he hasn't played. Like it's been who's their good striker I really like actually as well.
Isaac.
No, Brighton striker.
Oh, but fucking hell! I was reading a comment from Newcastle then. That's why I said Brighton striker.
Really good as well. Can't remember. They bought him from Watford.
Oh, João Pedro.
Yeah, very good striker. I like him a lot. He played most of the games last season, didn't he? Like he was their top scorer, I believe.
Decent talent. Yeah. But the fluid system they had, I mean, they could play like Welbeck at left back, and this sweet is madness. McMillan saying, I reckon Ten Hag starts the same team he did against City in the Community Shield, except maybe Evans out for Leacher at left centre back and Mazraoui at left back. Kerwin Nixon saying, once we go get Ivan Toney, that'll trigger my thoughts. We're going for the title challenge. Jesus Christ.
Mate, I whatever you're on, give me some, because fucking hell.
A title challenge.
If it happens, I'll walk my comments back. But yeah, it's not happening. That's not happening.
Yeah, for sure. Punch Paint, big up Punch Paint, legend saying if we score early, we can smash them and won't sit back. But if it's a 0-0 at half time, we're in for a fight to the wire. I think we win 3-1. First goal is ours. Nick and Sam, bring me Kadioglu. We don't do the signings, mate. Wish we could. Mate. Trust me. Yeah. Tell PSG to piss off and get Burger King instead. Thanks. Have you seen Osman to Chelsea for 40 mil and Lukaku? Great deal, that. Is that what it is?
That's what they're trying to do.
Oh my lord!
I think that's what they're trying to.
Yeah. I'd be pissed off if I was a Napoli fan.
Oh yeah, because furious.
Yeah, because obviously Conte's there now. Conte's a 2-year manager, and it stays there. Probably wins something and then fucks off. So you're getting rid of someone like a Victor Osimhen, who's like one of the best strikers on the planet.
He doesn't want to be.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I understand it, but they didn't help themselves, did they, Napoli, in that sense, with all the shit that went on social media. So, yeah, weird situation that. Manuel Luarte, Sofian Amrabat. Amrabat probably not going to happen. They've just literally taken him off the website and stuff. So, seems pretty bleak, to be fair. So, yeah. I think, is there anything else you wanted to touch on with Fulham, Sam, before we head off?
No, I think in terms of like new players starting, if anybody's got any questions, by the way, drop them in for the last 3 minutes.
Go for it.
We'll answer some questions. I think you might see Matthijs start in left back just because the lack of options there, and he's obviously played a bit in pre-season. De Ligt hasn't played any pre-season, I believe. He was on the bench against Spurs, but I don't think he's played. So you probably see him on the bench for United. I don't see him starting. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. So, and then I think it's going to be a very similar team to the Community Shield. I think you're going to see there. I think you'll see a very similar team. False 9. Dirksey, I don't think's ready yet. So yeah, I think you'll see a similar team. I think you probably see Matt's right at left back and then move Leacher into the central defence.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting. I
don't think what was your guys' predicted 11s? Did it differ much?
I said Onana, Delo, Maguire, Lissandro, Mazraoui, Casemiro, Mainu, Mount, Bruno, Garnacho, Rashford, because I do not see him dropping Rashford. I'll happy if he does, and I think Garnacho and Ahmad should start based on ability. But I can't see him starting Rashford.
I think he'll have a shorter leash, Rashford. I don't think he'll get as many games. If he's having poor performances, I don't think he'll get as much time as he did last time. But I do think he's going to give him an opportunity this season to basically prove himself.
Yeah. Do you want to go through a few comments?
Yeah. Sam, how's your life situation going, brother? You all right? I appreciate you checking in, Matt Millen. It's improving. There's still things going on which I can't sort yet, but things are improving. So I appreciate you checking in, brother. It means a lot when people check in. So yeah, thank you. When's the Manscaped deal coming? I mean, Manscaped hit us up if you want to do it.
Listen,
we'll
the ads I could do for Landscape, Jesus Christ, Manscaped.
Get the name right at least first, Nick. Jesus Christ.
I know that'd be all right. Could you imagine the first promo? Landscapes, and they're like, you could always segue though. I could just say, garden.
Landscape your balls with Manscaped.
Exactly. There you go.
But yeah, if they want to do a deal, whoever wants sponsors, come at us. We got
Yes,
the email.
it
Let
is
us know. Punchbait, watched the interview a couple back times. You do crushed it, learned a lot, great stuff. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah, that's something we're really proud of, and we've basically been working on for like nearly a year. Like we met him at the Talk of the Devil's live show last November, I think. And we've been trying to make it happen since then. And he's obviously a very busy man. He works for Premier League broadcasting, and he obviously has Talk of the Devils in the moment. So yeah, very appreciative of his time, and appreciate him coming on and giving that. So yeah, hopefully more to come. We won't reveal what, but he's basically we've got connections for something else in the works. So we'll let you know. Here's my question: why did I drink so much yesterday? Having a good time, Rich? Yeah. I don't know.
He's enjoyed himself.
You tell me, mate. You tell me.
Yeah.
Everyone's fit. Who's your front three, Nick? If everyone's fit, who are you picking?
What a question. Who's asked that?
David Harrington.
David Harrington. If everyone's fit, who's front three? It depends, doesn't it? How like Xerxes develops. I think right now I would go Ahmad, Rasmus, Garnacho. Front three.
Ahmad, Rasmus, Garnacho. Yeah, I'd agree with that. That's what I would go.
I think so. But it depends, Xerxes, how he develops, he could push his way into that team.
We'll have to see how he is in the team, how he works and stuff.
Yeah.
Can you read each other's thoughts? No. Like me and Nick are quite opposite in a lot of ways. Like we're quite different people. We've got common interests, but we're quite different people. So yeah. I don't think we can read each other's thoughts. Matt Millen, probably too much info, but I'm going to read it. I have such an afro. I could be a lifetime spokesman for Manscaped. Fair enough. Fair enough, Macmillan. You want to put that in public? That's fine. But you do you, mate. You do you.
Hashtag Asfro. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Wow, what a guy. Love it.
Does Xerxes start, lads? I don't think so this week. I don't think so.
Can I read out one of these questions, please?
Yeah, go on.
Just to put it out there. Has any of you worked in modelling before? That's from random guy. What do you reckon?
Random guy, just have a look. Have a gander.
Yeah, just scan.
What do you think?
And that'll tell you everything you need to know. Yeah.
We do this. I do this for a living. I do this for a living, and I work in an ad agency. Tells you all you need to know, really, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
To be honest, I was waiting for the call from United to promote the third kit. Didn't get the phone call.
No.
So
they went with another Eccles like the Angry Ginge, but it's what it is, isn't it? Where's the next one? It's so big it has to be done in landscape. That's from Sean. Nice. I like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can twist it whichever way you want. And I don't mean your thing. I mean the narrative. Anyway,
Dan said we've missed his question. Hold on, Dan's apologies. Let me find it. There we go. Do you think we get a Wate deal done and get Tony as well? Nah,
Tony. Don't see it happening.
You think we get a Wate done?
I was pretty not optimistic on the Tony deal, but I kept mentioning it because people like Laurie Whitwell kept talking about it, and there was a couple of other reputable journalists. But I don't know. It seems we're struggling with sales at the minute, and we still need to get a midfielder in. We probably still need to get a left back in. So if it does happen, it'll be right at the end of the window. That's what I'd say.
Wate happen? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Some of these questions are mad, by the way. What
have you been involved in gang warfare?
Are you a model or been in gang warfare? It's two questions that couldn't be further away.
It's two spectrums.
Yeah, couldn't be further away if you try. No. I mean, I played GTA. That's about as much gang warfare as I've done.
No, I'm not involved in gang warfare. But
yeah,
cool. Are you gamers? Yes, but I don't play online. I don't play any COD or any FIFA. I like single player games. So I like Ghost of Tsushima story based single player games. That's my kind of thing. I'm not into online stuff and being called several discriminatory words by 11-year-olds. I'm not into that. Don't need that.
When Sam was saying we're the opposite before, I am the guy who plays online and calls people's mothers and smokes them on FIFA. I am that guy. So yeah, anyone wants smoke on FIFA, I'm that person.
That's something we should do for members. We should set up like a FIFA thing or something, and then members can play you, stuff like that.
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
That'd be fair.
Yeah, clubs as well. There's a new clubs thing where you do 5-a-side.
Yeah.
That'd be mint if you get a real Red Talk club going. Definitely something to think about. So I'll make a mental note of that. last few we'll go
Yep.
through. Nick on the catwalk would be fire, mate. Okay.
Have people been drinking in the chat?
I know.
What's going on?
I know it's Thursday. It's like pre-Friday, but
Fucking
people.
hell.
I mean, I appreciate the compliments. Don't get me
Yeah.
twisted, but they were both models for Airfix. That's from Richard. Thanks, Richard.
Cheers,
Alex, do you think Sancho is a ploy from PSG to persuade Rashford to join?
It's a hell of a conspiracy theory, isn't it?
I know that is a strong conspiracy. I'm gonna go with no, but again, it's great channel, great chat. That's from Liam. Random
Thank
guy,
you,
wish
Liam.
both of you the best. Gotta go. Thank you so much, random guy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Nick, Sam, looking forward to EA Sports FC. I am. Sam won't be. Doesn't play.
I've not played FIFA for about 8 years, so I would be terrible at this point. But if you want to talk to me about single player games, I'm happy to do that.
Sean's got a question for you there.
Did you have a Dreamcast? If so, did you ever play Shenmue? I did have a Dreamcast. I don't think I played Shenmue. I know the game. I do know the game, but I did have a Dreamcast. Yeah, that is an old school console. Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I had a Dreamcast back in the day.
You have like Street Fighter on Dreamcast?
No, that's the Mega Drive. Mega Drive is Street Fighter.
Oh, was it?
Like that. Yeah, Dreamcast. Dreamcast was a weird console. It was like this unique thing that had loads of great ideas, but it just didn't pan out in reality. But I thought it was a great console. Yeah. Interesting.
What's your? I'm not giving up.
Sorry, Nick.
You go. Go
on. What's your poison of choice? I'm a whiskey guy. I like a bourbon. I love a bourbon. So Nick bought me a very nice bourbon for my birthday. Not tried it yet, but I want to try that. And then I've got about 5-6 bottles worth that I have. I don't drink.
Fucking cabinet.
Yeah, I literally have. It's ridiculous, but yeah, I'm a bourbon drinker. Nick.
A Buffalo Trace bourbon.
Yes,
best Buffalo you can get. Best Buffalo.
That's a good one.
Try it. Anyone who's a bourbon drinker, it's unreal, unbelievable. Where was the one I was going to read up for? I'm not giving up on Rashid just yet. Have you guys? That's from Punch Paint. My controversial take for this season was Rashford will score 15-20 goals or even be in contention with Golden Boot. So I think he's have a good season, but I just think he has dips and he's just way too inconsistent, man. You never know what you're going to get with him. The Forrest Gump of football.
I would sell him personally, but I don't think they will this season. I think they're going to give him every opportunity. He's their poster boy, isn't he? He's a Mancunian lad through the academy. Like, they're just going to give him every opportunity. But I hope he proves me wrong. Maker's Mark's a nice bourbon. Yes, that's a good one as well. Maker's Mark, Buffalo Trace, Four Roses. That's another good one.
Woodford
really nice.
Reserve.
Woodford Reserve's a decent one.
Yeah,
there's some good ones out there. There's some really nice ones out there. Where's it? I've got edibles going moldy in my cupboard. Don't eat those, Macmillan. The reason I said I haven't told...
I would say Richard's just put in a super chat for £1. I was kind of glazed past that.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it.
I said I haven't told him we signed him to 3 year +1. It'll be a hired gun ready right away, even at 20 years. He fits the time there. Young Shag is buying time. Yeah, I'd love Tony. I'd love him to come, but I just don't think we're going to buy him with the money situation that we've got and the players that we need to get. I just think it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But, I had a Sinclair ZX. Is that ZX80? The Spectrum? Is that Richard? It's a bit before my time, but I think I remember that. Four Roses is good. Wild Turkey, absolutely. Yeah, Wild Turkey is good. I don't know if this is a whiskey, but Richard said you need some
into a whiskey chat.
You need some Black Bush. I don't know if that's a whiskey. But...
We've gone past the Manscaped thing before, Richard. We've gone past that.
Blanton's, yes. I've got my boss bought me a Blanton's for my birthday. It's like £100 a bottle. He bought me for my birthday. But yeah, it's a good one as well.
I'm astonished by everyone's knowledge of nice bourbon. So that's very nice to know. Everyone's put really good ones in there.
If we ever do a Real Reds meet-up, at least we know we can just get a bunch of bourbon in and everybody's going to be all right with it.
Fucking top of a whiskey and everyone going mad, yeah.
You know where my backpack is? Can't find it anywhere. No, sorry, mate. Not seen it. Don't know where it is.
Yeah. Black Bush is to die for, no ice. There you go. There's one to add onto your list of bourbons. That's how the show starts. We start talking about serious transfer targets and we finish with bourbon and Manscaped and loads of random shit. That's what makes the community really nice and good. Yeah, appreciate you. But look, we have to go because obviously I'm back live in like 40 minutes for the press conference. So please do, if you want to come and join me with that, we'll speak a bit about what Erik ten Hag has said, and then we'll also, if you want to dive into a bit more bourbon chat or gamer chat or whatever it is, we'll talk about that. So come and join me if you guys are free. Appreciate you joining us as always. Leave a like on the video for us, subscribe to the channel, and me and Sam will see you later on. Yeah, take it easy.
Peace.